Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Join the mobile infantry and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship.
Hi there, would you like to sign my petition?
Would you like to sign my petition? That's not a joke, by the way. I need your signature on this. Seriously. Hello! I am a Glupshido Zero Sub Andy, but I still wanted to talk about this because it's important. Recently, there's been a resurgence for an initiative called Stop Killing Games. It was started by Ross from the channel Accursed Farms, and the links will be in the comments. It was originally started last year, but it just gained attraction in its final month, and it ends on July 31st. Even though there's only a month left, I think it's important that it gets the support it needs since it affects everybody, even though it doesn't seem like it. It does affect you, viewer. It does, okay? Even though it doesn't seem like it, it totally does. So, Stop Killing Games is an initiative in the form of an online petition to protect video games. In some games, specifically ones with an online feature, they require access to the company's servers in order to run. However, once the company decides they don't want to host the game anymore, they cut the cord. There's a lot of cases in which games are just unplayable now because the servers were deactivated. In the case of the game The Crew, people paid for the game and were not notified the cord would be cut. So what this initiative would do is require these online games to have their games in a functional state even after they're done with them. If the game dies and they cut their servers, you can still host it locally or something. So, for example, if you played League or Genshin or Infinity Nikki, even after the game dies, you could still have a way to play it. I'm sorry if these examples aren't they're meh. I'm sorry these are meh examples. I don't know who's gonna be watching this, but those are just the ones that are relevant for me. Basically, it's video game preservation. SKG is not asking developers to keep hosting their game forever. It's just providing their consumers a way to preserve the game. It's also not asking developers to give up their code or copyrighted resources. It's just giving people a way to play the game. I don't know why people keep getting this incorrect when it's literally on the front of the website. You might not care about video games, but if these petitions for the EU and UK pass, I think it'll be like a ripple effect that affects consumer rights in general. Because there's a lot of problems where businesses rip people off, and having a victory whenever you can is important to push back against this. It's already happened to Apple before. I believe they wanted to sell different types of cables for more money, but because the EU law mandated USB-C cables for everything, Apple complied and globally changed their phones going forward. So I think if SKG passes, there's a good chance that it'll affect globally and establish better precedents. It ties really nicely with consumer rights. I don't know why, but I was hyper fangirling after seeing all the creators I like supporting the initiative. It's like the calling card for based people. I live under a rock, but I didn't really see many people explaining this in Zoomer terms, so this is what this segment is for. Hey guys, remember Club Penguin, Mushy Monsters, Webkins, Animal Jam, Barbie Girls, Pixie Hollow? These were all games which are technically live service. Then companies bought them and then kept them running until they weren't making money anymore. I think this was especially true for Club Penguin, because Disney bought them, used it for advertising space, and then they just ruined the game and then killed it when it wasn't successful anymore. It's really sad, but all of these games from the 2000s are still archived and preserved in some way or another. I know Club Penguin private servers have been around even after Disney tried to get them all. Isn't it awesome that we can just archive things and come back to them at any time? This is basically what Stop Killing Games does. It guarantees this for online games.
Maybe you're not thinking about it very much, or you think Genshin, Honkai, League, DBD, Valorant, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Infinity Nikki. You think these games will last, but it really won't. There's no guarantee. And all that time and money you invested, you won't ever be able to come back to for nostalgia. The same goes for mobile games, I think. Stop Killing Games has you covered, though. I'm not sure if it'll affect these games in particular, but it would protect games going forward. Especially if these games die and like another one takes their place. So yeah, there's virtually no reason to be against this. It's basic consumer rights. You invested money in this game under the assumption it would last, so for companies to pull the plug whenever they want is just not balanced at all. As for me, I have really low RAM in my head. And as someone with low RAM, I like having things archived and preserved so I can come back to them, you know, whenever I want. My memories are readily available at like the touch of a button. So of course online games are a problem because there's no security or guarantee for me that they're there forever. You're investing time and money into something with an expiration date, one that's not even clear. And for some of them, it takes just one bad update to kill the player base. And then they see it's not popular anymore, so they decide to kill it. I don't know why people don't realize how like ridiculous that is. With this current trend, we're basically churning out content which had time, money, and labor to create en masse just to burn it. It's digital e-waste. I think there's like a really good picture of like these donuts in the trash, but you just replace that with live service games. That's literally what we're doing, and it freaking sucks. I tried to avoid live service games for this reason, but eventually it did get me with Infinity Nikki. I'm still a woman, sorry. I like dress-up games and being pretty, sue me. I really like the game concept, but games like Genshin Impact and Infinity Nikki are just so time-consuming, and I can't enjoy them for very long because I know in the back of my head, all of the progress I made can just be wiped away whenever some like gross, disgusting CEO feels like it. So if this goes through, I hope that it protects games like these going forward. Because they're so cute, but they're just digital e-waste right now. I've seen a lot of guys dismissing a lot when it comes to consumer rights stuff and this initiative. The apathetic edgelord men who don't care because it doesn't affect them. Which, I get it. I don't like live service games much anymore either. I try to play like one or two and then the rest I try to emulate. So, you might not care about these games and you can try to avoid the mainstream as much as you want, but I think at some point it will affect you one way or another. All my friends are regular people who play these games. Sadly, online games are how I connect with them. And even though I'm not too crazy about it, I don't mock them or act like I'm better than them. I just think they're not informed and don't know how better things could be. So you just need to inform people instead of skulking in the corner. So contribute or go back to your ditch, okay? I saw one other critique that I wanted to address, and that was, stop telling people what to do with their games! Which... what? Companies are the ones telling you how long you can enjoy their games for. SKG just protects you from that. And even then, I believe this would only impact online games with monetization stuff. This doesn't affect all games or random single indie games. Why would indie devs even bother trying to compete with AAA multiplayer games anyways? That just doesn't make any sense. And even then, you put out a creative work for the public to see. Once it's out there for the public, you, in a way, lose total control of it. The PvP flag is on forever. If you didn't want your product to be judged or have people tinker or mess with it, then don't put it out there to begin with, especially if you're charging money for it. You don't want people telling you how to handle your game? Don't publish the game. Nobody will ever know. You're welcome. Okay, so you can't really talk about the petition without mentioning this guy. His opinion on SKG had a negative impact on the initiative, but it also recently reignited momentum on it. I can save the roast for a separate video, but basically this thing misinterpreted the movement. He was skeptical and falsely assumed so many things wrong that I addressed earlier about the initiative. He thought servers would have to run forever. No. He thought Ross was doing this for easy wins. No. He thought indie devs would be affected. Probably not. Being stupid is a crime, but I think the worst thing for me was how he acted about it. The guy that started the movement, Ross, is actually very chill. If you see his videos and his streams, he's just some guy that wants to archive old games. He's very wholesome. But then you see Jason's... I'm sorry, I'm calling him Jason because Thor is an inappropriate name for someone of his phenotype. Jason's initial coverage is in his live streams. You can see that he's like incredibly hostile and defensive for some reason. And he acts like Ross wants to kill him and his family. If you like watch the video, you can see the baby rage.
I should really talk to him. Great, let's do it. So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
But because Jason was a credible person at the time, his opinions were highly valued here. And it gave a lot of casual people a bad first impression of the movement. And from how I see it, and given stuff he did later, I think it's obvious he did this maliciously. His own game, Heartbound, requires an internet connection to play to make sure the software isn't pirated. Get it? Irony. And given that him and his father worked at Blizzard, which is known for their live service games, it's clear he has incentive to make sure Stop Killing Games doesn't succeed. He's an industry plant. Kill him. But putting the two side by side, it's pretty obvious who's genuine and who isn't. Jason gave a half-assed apology for bullying and discrediting Ross, but doubled down on his takes against the initiative even when other creators spoke to him. The man is lost, and it's not hard to dislike him. As of recording this, the EU petition signatures are almost to its 1 million goal, and the UK one is already finished. So it finally got more coverage at the very end, and it looks like it's gonna succeed, which I'm so happy for. Hehe, Jason, hehe. It's a little depressing that it took Pirate Software's drama in order for this to get the support it needs, but I know that's just how the world works. So please, if you are an EU resident, sign the petition before July 31st. It's in its home stretch. If you hate corpo scum and hate businesses getting their way, I highly recommend you sign or spread awareness. Just do your part, and thank you for watching!
Everyone's doing their part. Are you? The war effort needs your effort. At work, at home, in your community.